Howdy, folks. Widget Walls from needcoffee.com here. Back again for another Wayhomer review. Here's how it works for the uninitiated. I've just left the cinema. It's somewhere up there, above this parking garage. And I've seen a film. Yeah, that'll do for right now. And I'm going to tell you about that film on my way home. And today, we're here to talk about Pacific Rim. And I don't know what the symbol for IMAX is. Just, I don't know. Okay, so Pacific Rim. Synopsis comes first. Synopsis is this. A rift opens up at a point on the bottom of the Pacific Ocean, and giant monsters decide to come and pay us a visit. And the thing about giant monsters is it's not like, Monsters University where they're, animated and funny and they talk like Billy Crystal. No, these are giant freaking monsters that would basically, make the Sony Godzilla their bitch. I mean, that's basically the best way of putting it. They're pretty badass. And they just start showing up and tearing up the place, which is what giant monsters have traditionally done. So, after trying to use, conventional means to take out monsters and deciding that it really takes too long to bring down a monster the size of Rhode Island with tanks and jets and whatnot, we decided to make giant robots that were piloted by people that we could use to fight them. Pardon me for a moment. Yes, okay, fine. Yeah, what the? I got another ticket. I'm supposed to give you a ticket. It's a very confused machine. I'm glad you're not defending us from monsters. Anyway, so that's what Skynet looks like, folks. Alright, so anyway, what was I? Oh, yes, giant robots. We decided to create giant robots so that we can basically, defend ourselves from giant monsters. That's what one does. So, yes, we do that, and things are going along swimmingly, but of course, it can't be that easy, and it isn't. So as things escalate, hijinks ensue, and things come to a crisis. Let's check this. That's pretty much it. Oh, and Idris Elba speechifies. That's a good synopsis. Okay, so here's the deal. This is obviously a very large, very over-the-top, very crazy sort of film. It makes it very clear from the trailer that you're going to get rocket-punching robots fighting monsters. And if you say that you're going to bring me rocket-punching robots fighting monsters, I'll go with you, and I will show up expecting that. But by God, you better bring me some rocket punches and some monsters. Well, the good news is that you get all of that. You get, like, huge buffet portion versions of that. It's pretty amazing. I'm not sure what these people are doing. I'm not sure what any of these people are doing. We'll just try this. So anyway, so you better have it show up and bring that particular brand of noise. And you've got Guillermo del Toro, who, yes, he was supposed to do The Hobbit and then sort of stopped, but I don't know. He's never struck me as a huge movie type of person, because I know Hellboy was sort of big. The Hellboys were big. But I'm sitting here, because I do no research before I do these things, thinking, okay, what has he done that's been this big? Thematically big, yes. Great monsters big, yes. But huge. And so you go, okay, well, is this going to work? Is this going to give me enough of a story and enough characters to, to carry the amount of rocket punching and monster bashing that I want to see? And the answer is yes. Yes, it does. To a sort of stunning degree, in fact. It starts from jump, basically, where it starts basically feeding you the setup, which most of it you know from the trailer, right? But you basically get monsters from like 5 minutes, 3 minutes in, and then giant robots from 5 minutes in, and it pretty much seldom lets up for the next 2 hours, which is sort of exactly what I wanted. There's something about a summer blockbuster film that's big and loud and has Explodo in it, that it's like, if you tell me that's what you're going to give me, I'm not one of these critics who shows up expecting everything to be Remains of the Day, okay? Although Remains of the Day with giant kaiju would actually be pretty cool, I'm not showing up expecting that. You sold me on robots and giant monsters, bring the robots and giant monsters. Well, this brings it, okay? And yes, you have the sort of standard tropes of who is going to meet whom and what's going to happen to them, and oh, well, there has to be a rival, and that you have all of that. But it's executed in such a way that it's there and it serves its purpose, and it's okay. It feels real enough despite all of this insanity that's going on around you, with all the rocket punching and the buildings being destroyed and whatnot. So what it does extremely well is delivering on the promise of what summer movies are supposed to do, and what so few of them do anymore, which is just be huge, which is just sort of like surprise you, which is sort of impress you with like, wow, I cannot believe I'm actually watching this happen. And that's what I got a lot of in this. I mean, even bits that I saw in the trailer that you would come to expect because you've seen, oh, well, there's a kaiju that's going to have this characteristic. I'm wondering, it's probably going to wind up being this kaiju, and that's going to be, a nice reveal, but I knew it was coming in the trailer. You don't care, because it's just so big and amazing. So I was very, very happy with it. And, yeah, I mean, the Idris Elba speech, fine. I mean, much like Michael Shannon in Man of Steel, selling the fact that he would actually shout things and be very shouty. Idris Elba is just is such a tremendous badass that he actually makes you believe that he would stand up and say that speech, that most of it's in the trailer. So it mostly all works. There's one slight little wrinkle towards the end that makes you go, but you can think your way out of it fairly quickly. And I mean, I've said this before. Two things about big movies is that, number one, I don't want my brain to wake up in the middle of it because it'll be pissed off, all right? My brain had no problem with sleeping through this for the bits of it was supposed to sleep through, which is 80% of it. Because, no, it did wake up to just go, pretty. I mean, that was pretty much it, because it was so huge and destructive. Your brain sort of needs to engage in order to process the level of destruction that you're seeing happen on the screen. But it never woke up and was pissed off. And two, you want to get up enough credit so if you do pull something that's ludicrous or doesn't make quite so much sense, you want to spend that credit for the audience not to care, because they're enjoying themselves so much, they just don't care. And that was pretty much me. I came up with a reason why that would work, that they, could have explained in the film, but I just didn't care. Charlie Hunnam, I guess it is his last name, guy from Sons of Anarchy, which I don't watch, but I understand he's supposed to be good. He was fine. The cast was all fine. Ron Perlman was very amusing. It was all fine. But they serve the purpose of basically being, hilariously, they're the vehicle which the giant robots, which they pilot them to get into the film and actually make sense. And I think they sell what they're doing, and they make that universe make sense as well. And here's the other thing. Let me just say, I don't think anyone's going to be surprised about this, having seen what Del Toro does, but You know how I've mentioned before about what I guess we could call Waterworld syndrome, where you know what the budget is and it just doesn't jive with what you're seeing on the screen? I know this is like a $200 million something movie. I can't believe they made it for that much, because the production values on this thing were amazing. Incredible. You know, everything looked lived in and used, and the level of detail was amazing. And at no point did you sit there and go, this is, you know, I mean, yes, on some level you go, this is happening on a set, and there's probably a lot of green screen. But apart from that intellectually happening, the really happy parts of your brain are going, shut up, brain, it's awesome. Look at this amazing set with these skyscraper-sized robots in it. So it looked fantastic. And it seems strange, oh, there's giant robots and there's giant monsters and they all look really cool. I was most interested in the heavy, heavy doors that had like rust and wear on them. Because I'm going, there, someone actually had the sense to put together a wall that would look like that. I got a weird brain. So anyway, the look and feel of it was great. I enjoyed the story of it. I enjoyed the reveal of it. I really enjoyed myself. And see, that's the thing about a big summer tentpole film. You're not necessarily supposed to go in and have deep emotional ties to it and feel moved and have it change your life and your world and your worldview and come out of it thinking, yeah, you know, you're right, we should pull together and build giant robots. I mean, they're not trying to, that would be a great message to get across, but I mean, they're not trying to give you that message. They're trying to entertain you. And so, does it entertain you? Does it blow lots of stuff up? Does it level ridiculous amounts of buildings? Is there huge levels of property damage? And does the world, you know, come to the brink of destruction? Why, yes. So, to me, it's successful. It does all of that without waking your brain up, without pissing you off, without giving you plot holes that you could drive a truck through, and a few plot holes that you might have, you know, you can spackle over them. I just don't care. I'm like, rocket punch, wonderful. Now, that's me, okay? And again, if you go in expecting what the trailer sold you on, which is monsters and giant robots, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised, because there is actually a little bit going on beyond that, because it is Del Toro, and he does want, you know, he's not trying to, you know, this isn't Pan's Labyrinth or something. He doesn't want you to be completely brain dead, but he does acknowledge the sort of film that he's making. And he does it quite well. So what I would say is this. First of all, cup-wise, okay. Oh, and by the way, the 3D, saw it in 3D IMAX, really enjoyed the huge screen. It really served the purpose of this. It's probably the most IMAX-worthy film I've seen since Avengers, because it was just so big. The 3D, I actually thought the 3D added to the experience, because you had enough stuff going on that there was enough depth happening that I felt, okay, thank you. That was money well spent, fine. So no 3D penalty. I'm thinking that I would give it standard about a 4 cup, but really just for the sheer glee that I feel coming out of that, and just the sheer level of oomph that the film had. I think it earns an extra half cup beyond that, and I would go with 4.5. It's not a perfect summer blockbuster film, but it's a damn good one. So yes, and I would say, if you can't, you seldom hear me say this, you know how I want you to save money, but if you've got an IMAX screen close to you that's decent, get the cheapest show you can and go see it on the IMAX, because it's huge. And, you know, if you could do IMAX without 3D, fine, but I mean, I think the size of the screen more important than the 3D, although the 3D was good. Now let me just say this one last bit, because I never know how long I'm talking with these things, and I'm amazed that any of you watched to the end, because I'm amazed I don't fall asleep while I'm driving. But anyway, this film was tracking low, okay, which I don't understand. This film, the last report I saw from Variety said 38 million for the weekend. So they're going to consider this a failure. If you are a science fiction fan and you don't go see this film as soon as possible, you have the right to complain about Hollywood sci-fi for the next 2 or 3 years, but I don't think anyone deserves to listen to you, okay? Because this is really fun, well thought out science fiction of the sort that I'm amazed it got made, because how in the world do you market this to the world, you know, beyond giant rocket punching robots and monsters? I mean, I don't think you need much beyond that, but apparently you do. So I would say grab yourself and a friend and go see it as soon as you can, and hopefully word of mouth will help this thing, because what I don't want is I don't want another Sky Captain on my hands, where we had a really brilliant film that nobody knew what it was and nobody knew what to do with it. And this is even easier to digest than Sky Captain, because you don't have, you know, everyone knows about Godzilla. Not everyone knew about adventure serials with Sky Captain. So I'm saying, come to the rescue of this film, and you will thank me for it later. And I would really love to buy Guillermo del Toro a beer. That's pretty much it. So there you go. There's another Wayhomer. I'm very happy that did the trick. So yes, thank you for everyone who watches these things. If you do like them, if you do watch them, please share it with a friend. Like we always say, just pick two. Pick 2 of the 55 social networks that you're currently on, and share this on them. If YouTube usually has a way of doing it straight from there, or if you're watching this on the Need Coffee site, which is lovely, then there's lots of buttons there that will let you share this. So please do. Yes, always needcoffee.com/support is there if you want to throw some coin at us, but at this point, I would just be happy with some more eyeballs on this thing. So put some eyeballs on Pacific Rim, and then put your eyeballs back on this. There you go. So thanks so much for watching. Again, we're trying to play catch up with summer fun, but we'll see how it goes. So until next time, we'll see you on the Wayhomer Reviews. Bye. Oh, and one last thing. I know the director of the movie Monsters is supposed to be attached to the new Godzilla film, and all I can say is, A, you better hope this film makes money too, and 2, it's apparently your move. Good luck.